All right, it is February 4th, 2018. I think the Super Bowl is probably started, and I'm sitting here in front of my computer talking about the stock market in preparation for tomorrow, which we just came off of Friday's bloodbath. Um, Friday's bloodbath of the stock market. You know, the Dow Jones was down, Nasdaq was down, the S&P was down. This has been a significant drop over the past 10 years. So this is something that, even though it was a big drop, the market needed to be corrected. So the market corrected itself, and it's a little healthy. You can't have prices running sky high without a little bit of pullback. They're too high. Um, so what I wanted to do with this video is essentially talk about how I scan for stocks. Recently, I've been, getting messages on, how do I find these stocks, and even if I don't play them or if I don't play them well, I still get questioned on how did I find them and how did I know that it was going to run or go in a bullish direction. So what I want to do first is that I want to first say that I'm using Thinkorswim trading platform. The Thinkorswim trading platform has it open for you to be able to trade all markets. So not only if you want to trade, the S&P, the Nasdaq, or the New York Stock Exchange, you also have OTC or pink sheets. So you have the over-the-counter stocks, which are a little bit more riskier, and pink sheets were just as equally riskier to trade. And not all trading platforms have that. So, if you are with a reputable broker who will allow you to trade OTC markets and pink sheets, I would say, you are probably in the right direction. If you're using something else like, Robinhood, which does not use or does not have access to the OTC markets, you will potentially miss out on some critical plays that might actually happen. So get into the meat of everything. I want to show you how I scan for stocks. So what I do is that I set a list of parameters. I set three parameters. I try to keep it simple. Simplicity is the best remedy for all learning, and in doing so, what I did was I filtered for a couple of stocks. So are filtered for a couple of indicators that will lead me in the right direction to see a stock that fits my criteria. So what you do is on the Thinkorswim trading platform, you go to add filter for stock, which is right here, and then you'll get a filter that will come up like this one has come up right here. I don't use beta, I don't use bid, even though bid and ask are probably really good to use. I don't use those two, but depending on which filter you use, whether it's earnings per share or front volume or the high, the low, the mark price, net change, whatever filter that you use, they're going to ask you to give a certain parameter. Let me just scoot this over a little bit. Computer's running a little slow. So I can get that off. So anyway, what I do is I use last. Last is the last price that was recorded before the market close or at the market close. So I tend to trade stocks between $1 and $10 a share. But recently I've kind of adjusted and put down 15 cents. 15 cents. Now you could put it down at 1 cent for all you care. Now, I usually don't like the stocks underneath the dollar, but some of these stocks that are under $1 have been running, exponentially, given, returns of 30, 40, 50% on the day. So why not open myself up to that possibility, that opportunity? So what I did is just, put in the minimum of 15 cents and the maximum of $10. And then I also use volume. Volume is a very critical aspect to the trading market. The more people that come in, the more volatility, the more fluctuation that the price will have or that the stock will have. So it will give you greater odds to have more people trading the stock that you are interested in. because the more people that are there, like I said, the better the fluctuation, and direction in your direction towards your price target. So normally I go for about 500,000, and my max is about 10 million. And I say 10 million. You could use 20 million, 30 million. You can use something higher. But I really want to get it at the early portion of the pattern, in hopes that I am near the bottom, and people are just starting to rally and just starting to get into the stock. Then I also look for the percentage change. Now, percentage change, that is the amount that the price actually increases during the day. So during that trading day, intraday, if a stock starts hitting 5%, to me that is an indicator that it has more potential to go 10, 20, maybe even 30 or 40% on the day. But knowing that 5% will start it off, will start the run, then I would rather start there. So I use 5% as my minimum and 100% as my max. There's been stocks that will go past 100, but that's pretty much fine, because anything that's in between this range of 5% and 100% will be able to give a clear direction for you as a trader to say, hey, this stock is available for the next trading day. For instance, if I see a stock that was trading 70% on Monday, when I do my scan, and then on Tuesday, that has potential for it to continue going. Now, will it be overextended, or will people start selling it off and stuff like that? That's something else to really analyze over, to ensure that the stock is going in the direction that you want it to go, and that you're getting in at a viable position. So, with all that being said, like, I have already scanned some stocks. Already, I've kind of looked at some of the ones that are listed in here, and that's the one thing that's very neat about Thinkorswim. It will give you some little icons that'll let you know if there is a potential earnings that is coming up, because we are in the midst of earnings season. So based on how the stock market has been the past 4 days, well, I'm counting Wednesday, or was it Thursday? Yeah, Wednesday, there was a pullback of about 300% on the major indices. Thursday, there was a green day. And then Friday, we had another pullback of about 600 points on the major indices. It's always good to see, what earnings that might be coming out for potential stocks during that week. Even though there's those major pullbacks, you might never know what the price action will do for these stocks, because it's really the price action that determines. You see all these stocks, these stocks are all green on a day that was pretty much a bloodbath on Friday. So price action dictates where that stock is going. The market moves. 3 out of the 4 stocks move in accordance to the indices, or according to the market. So these are the lucky 1/4 of stocks that had the potential of running, or that did run on Friday. If I increase the price, let's increase the price to $20. Now let's see. We have one more. So it went from 30 to 31. We have one more stock, and it was probably MOMT. No, not even. Where are you? Last. I don't even see it, quite honestly. But it doesn't matter. It was really just one stock that. Oh, there you are. DVAX. That one looks very familiar. Let's just look at that one. DVAX. All right, a technology stock. It's going through a nice little wave pattern here. Let's look at it on the long-term chart. In the long-term chart, it is holding. this 15, well, 16, more $16 area, well, in the $16 area, and it looks like it wants to go back over the 100-day moving average. So, this is not one that I would be trading or anything like that, but because now that we have our list of stocks that we want to look at for tomorrow, for Monday's open, what I did, and as you can see, this is my list from January entering into February. So this is my watch list, and majority of the stocks are red on the day. But majority of them that are red had some type of increase over the past 3 weeks, because that's what this is. It's an indicator showing you the direction in the past 3 weeks, where it has been going, has been uptrending or not. So what I tend to do is that I put up just a quick chart, and on the quick chart I select one by one through the stocks that I feel like that would that fit my criteria, that fit the chart pattern, that looks like it can have some potential of uptrending. And a lot of these did not. So I was able to filter through which ones did and which ones did not, and which ones I would prefer to play on Monday. So on Monday I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 are my top choices that I want to trade on Monday. And being that we're just coming off of a very, very bad trading day on Friday and Wednesday, I want to keep myself prepared for any other downtrend. So I'm not just going to scurrily make myself available to trade a stock just because I said that these are the stocks that I think that are going to move and I'm just going to buy it. No, I'm not into playing a guessing game. I do want to have a solid plan for each of these stocks. So with that being said, these are stocks that I picked straight from my scan, that I picked, like FUSZ, VKTX, and you can see even SCKT, it's up here too. But looking at the chart, I didn't think it was something that I would like to play for Monday. GNMX, I know it's down in here somewhere. Where are you? I think that was probably one that I've held over from Thursday, because I was looking at that. This one has been running up quite a bit. Where is everybody? ARAY. Interesting. I just had you all in here. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Either way, when I scan through this stock, oh, that's why, because that 3%, 1%, 1%. That makes more sense. Okay, so that makes more sense why I wasn't listed in here like I wanted, because of what the percentage was on the day. And remember, I'm scanning for 5%, 10, and 100%. Same thing with MRMD. It was actually below at 237,000 shares traded, and I was scanning around 500,000. I'll go into the reason why this one is listed, but VKTX and FUSZ are newer stocks that I've added to trade. So let's start with FUSZ. This is a company that, one, it's going into some blockchain technology, and blockchain has been, a big catalyst for stocks that want to increase in price. Just there to increase everything. Like, if you mention blockchain on any stock, it's just going to increase, and that's what has happened in the past, probably like 2 or 3 months. But like I said, the stock market has been, kind of dicey right now. So I want to just buy this just because. But I do like the chart pattern, and I'll tell you why. This here is the 100-day moving average exponential. So what I have found is that when stocks start trading above the 100-day moving average exponential, it does have a tendency to increase a lot more. Once it's trading below, like it did right here, it will go down further on down, which it did, and we see that. We see that it did, and we always want to make sure that the stock will be trading above the 100-day moving average, if you want to consider it as a long play, as a play that we believe could go bullish and continue to increase in price. So because of the things that they want to do, they're doing a global marketing campaign to increase customer experience by having customer relations management to draw in more customers for the companies that they are advertising for in a cloud-based system. So they feel like that their cloud-based system will be strong enough to protect and then be able to advertise for these companies. So they came out with this plan, and they think it's breakthrough technology. Of course, all these stocks always have something breakthrough, and they feel like it's going to be great. But even though they say this, what determines all movement on price is price action. So if the price action on this stock, which on the year chart, which is where you normally would begin, we see that there is some support here at 17 cents, 17, maybe 18 cents. If we go back to when it opened back here, which it was like the first couple of days. It only been alive since April of 2017. So being that it's only been around for considerably about 10 months, not even. We still want to make sure that we are protecting ourselves with this trade. So we see that 18 cents is a good support, and it has bounced from having 2 red days to having a green day. And the last time it had a green day, it had a very stronger green day. So it went from 1 green day to another green day. So it was 2 green days. So I'm anticipating a second green day tomorrow, and in the hopes that it can actually test 27 cents. If it can test 27 cents, that'll be a good way of getting in. So why 27 cents? 27 cents mainly because there's some resistance right here back in June 20th, 18th, 19th, 16th, 19th, where 28 cents was the resistance. So the price action is going to try to challenge this area right here, and as you can tell, that's what happened over here. It challenged it, and then it came right back down. So I'm anticipating that tomorrow this would go probably another 5 cents. So, and I also use the MACD and the RSI. And the MACD, essentially, this determines the momentum of the stock. The momentum is bullish, as you can see here, and the RSI determines the relative strength, whether the stock is being overbought or oversold. And right here is overbought on these 2 green candles, and then it came back down on 2 red days. So now it is approaching overbought on the day once again. So it's green and hasn't been overbought yet. So this gives me an idea that it could possibly do what it did a couple of days ago, retest 28 cents before coming back down, or retest 28 cents and continue to go up, maybe go up to 32 cents. I don't know. But all I do know is that I will be watching the price action. So this is what I use. I use the MACD, use the RSI, and I determine where the support levels are and where the resistance levels are. Also, you want to start looking on the day chart or the intraday chart, seeing where how the price action looked. So on the 5-day 2-minute chart, we see that there was some support right here in this high, it's 17 cents, 17, 18 cents area. There was some support here, or just 18, more 18 cents. But what I find more interesting is that when the stock starts trading slightly above the MACD, or not the MACD, the 100-day moving average exponential, it tends to go up higher. It ramps up higher on the day. Now, the market has closed, but we see that there's a cluster of buying up here, and it's above the 100-day moving average. Particularly so that if a stock trades in the morning above the 100-day moving average and continues moving higher, then yes, I believe that the 100-day moving average will continue to be just below the price, while the price of the stock itself continues to go up. So this is something that I have seen on intraday trading. So on the intraday trading, it could go up. Now the very next day, it could definitely come right back down and come to the 100-day moving average exponential. And what the 100-day moving average does is that it takes the average price over the past 100 days and gives you what that price is. So that price, which is listed on the right hand side of the screen, once I highlight it, is 19 cents. So for me, I would want to get as close to 19 cents as possible, even though they are the price right now is at 22 cents, so it's 3 cents above it. And the MACD, the MACD up here is showing that it's leveling off, and it might be going through some selling potentially. Who knows? And then the RSI is already overbought, and it came back down a little bit, but it has the potential of coming back up again. So this is something that I would definitely look at as a potential buy. And looking through every time frame definitely helps, where there's some support forming around 20 cents. And if I can get in at 20 cents, that would be like my ultimate buying price. But I don't want it to go down too low, where now I run myself at risk of losing on the stock. I want to get in at a price where not only is close to the 100-day moving average, but it's close enough where my reward is much higher than my risk, right? So that's what we're doing with this stock. And even on the 1 hour 180-day chart, we're seeing that it broke that 18 cents, right? This is support around 18 cents, and then it broke resistance at close to 19 or 20 cents, and then that's when it really started to travel higher. So that's something I would love. I think that the next resistance area is 24 cents. So if it was possible for me to get in at 20 or 21 cents, let's say more 21 or 20 cents, then I would be very, very grateful. Let's go to MRMD, mainly because this is one that I traded last week, and I will show you what I meant by how a stock trades over the 100-day moving average, and it has a potential of coming back down the next day. This was a perfect example. This stock, once again, it's only been around since late May, end of May. But when it was trading above the 100-day moving average, it was moving pretty well, right? And then it came down, and when it comes down below, that's where I see it as a bullish signal, bearish signal. So it came down, then moved back up, and then it kind of just traded sideways along the 100-day moving average. Once it broke resistance at 80 cents, that 80 cents became support. So you see that this is 80 cents right here, 80 cents right here, just about 80 cents right there. It broke that and shot up right here to $1.28 or so before having a pullback. So I bought here on this day at $1.16. So I bought at $1.16, anticipating a run up like this, which it did happen. So this is what I'm saying. There are 1, 2, 3 green days. See, my greediness. 1, 2, 3 green days. My greediness anticipated a fourth green day. I could have just took the money and jetted out. So this is how I was able to find this stock, because on this day it was up more than 5%. The chart looked good. It was green. And if you have not read anything on bullish candlesticks, or just candlesticks in general, you can see that these two are bullish candlesticks. This is something that you have a potential of buying opportunities up here. You have potential of buying opportunities on this wick as well. So that's what happened. It found that support right above the $1.16, and I was up. I moved my target price from $1.50 to $1.70, and it never got back up there again. So and let's go through the what had happened on that day. So on that day itself, which you have this green line is a VWAP, and that's a variable weighted average price, where they take the amount of shares and the price that the shares are being bought at, and give you an average weighted price on where people who are entering the stock are buying it at. So that's what this green line is. This kind of helps me find an entry point to buy a stock. So as I saw this stock, and I said, oh, okay, it could break over. This was this day that I bought it, and on this Wednesday it went up. So on this day that I bought it, I ended up buying it at 116, because it was already up. And so what, this could go up a little bit higher, and there wasn't much resistance. It was close to its previous resistance at 124, 121, 122, right around here. So I said, what, this will be a good purchasing opportunity. And that it did. It went up on the day, and it started trading, and then it went up higher. Once it tested that 124 and broke the 126, it had an opportunity to go even higher, and that it did with a little bit of pullback. Here, I could have sold it, or I could have just left it at 150 and sold at 150, but I didn't. This is probably the one time where it didn't. It just kind of traded near the 100-day moving average. So this is probably not the best example, but it is an example of what a breakout looks like, on these candlesticks. So it broke out to 148, and then came back down. So this is what greed happens. When greed occurs, you have the next day where the stock plummets, and it plummeted down. I end up losing 7 cents a share when I was more up 30 plus cents a share. So this is a good learning lesson for me, to take my profits when they present themselves, and it definitely presented itself when I was up at least it was at least 20%, maybe 30%. So I was pretty good. I was off to a really good start. So now we're seeing that this dropped below the 100-day moving average, and because it dropped way below the 100-day moving average, it became bearish, and it did hold that dollar area, which was really good, because now it had an opportunity to continue to go up, which it did. It came right back over the 100-day moving average. So on Monday, this is something that I'll be looking at. I keep on going to the 1 hour chart, just because the MACD is showing that the buying or the selling opportunity is coming to an end, and is creating an opportunity to buy. So I'm anticipating that this will continue to go up, and there will be some buying that will be occurring at this level. Yeah, so 114 right here is support. 114 over here, some support. So, 114 will probably be a better price to get in at. But the biggest thing is that it's over the 100-day moving average. So I can only see this going up higher. And if I trust my teachings that I have learned on this type of stock, I should be okay, right? I should be okay for the stock to continue to go up. But once again, the stock market is red, so we'll see what happens early in the morning. And the next one, just to kind of go over, just to, once again, VKTX. The one thing there's a couple of things I like about this stock. One is that it gives you a clear showing of what happens when a stock starts trading below the 100-day moving average exponential, and it will test the 100-day moving average like all the way down and struggling to get there. But once it did start trading alongside the 100-day moving average, it actually started uptrending, and we're going to get this nice little U shape, where that 435 kind of held, and the next price was 523. I was actually looking at this last week. It was on my watch list, and you can look on Twitter at Health for Soul. I post up weekly stock picks for the week, and I really thought that it was gonna have some legs, which it did. But I wasn't sure how strong it could be. And then the price action is pretty weird intraday, especially with the 5 cent moving, the 5 cent difference, the 5 cent spread on the bid and the ask. I'm not a big fan of that. It's kind of hard for me to judge where to buy in and where to sell out at. But as long as the stock has its volume and is following all my other indicators, I should be okay. But as we can see here, intraday on Friday, it once it started to trade over the 100-day moving average, it just only had the potential of going higher and higher, and that's what I look for. I want this. I want this type of chart. Now I cannot say that this is going to happen on Monday, because the stock will probably have a different personality on Monday and not want to recognize how much uptrend it did have. But it did have a significant amount of uptrend. It traded 9 million on the day. Let's see what it on a regular day. Let's see, with the volume is here, right? So the volume being there since November, we're going from November, and it's been trading pretty thin, then it got a million, and it's been trading pretty thin, all right? But oftentimes it does get to 500,000, 400,000, 300,000, and a million. And I think these are more, gets to that million when it starts reaching the breakout points. So once it starts coming towards the breakout here, yep, then it gets to a million. So when the breakout does occur on this stock, there are slightly over a million people that will be trading it. The one thing about this stock, even though the MACD and the RSI on the day are suggesting that, hey, it can break out or it can be overbought and continue to be bullish, I'm seeing that right here, that there's even more potential for it to break out because it's near the high of the stock, not the all-time high, which is fortunate, but it is near a high, and it is seeing some support from back here, what is this, 588. So 588, and with all that consolidation, we can see that 692 right above it, or 650, would be a nice little breakout to resistance area. you know, this could be another green day for this stock, as it found support right here in the fives, and it had some nice price action up until 638. Even though we're seeing about 570, 580. I think we saw like about 570 was the support area. So, this is something that I could see kind of breaking out. It's just that how choppy it is. I'm not a big fan. From back here, it's kind of hard to tell where where it was going or where it could go. But there is some consolidation here, between that 596 and that 650, 660 area. So we shall see with this stock. But the biggest concern that I have is that it did have a public offering at $5 that was given off on Friday, and I don't know if it's going to come back down. The last time I had a public offering, it was for something. No, 250. That's right. That was another stock. So at 250, it had a public offering, and that was in December. And back in December, what did it do? It went right on up. Well, actually on the 6th, it went straight down, and it didn't quite get to 250, but it did maintain support and had a green day and continued to travel up since then. So I don't know if there's going to be any selling down towards the fives, but if there is, and this candlestick normally does not suggest that, and it's only on the second green day. Normally, when it trades more than two green days, right? One, two, yeah, a couple right here, yeah, two right there, two right there, one right there, two right there. I guess you can count this as a green day because it continued to go up. One right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 days. So it had 3 days right there and 2 days right here. So tomorrow it might go up one more day before collapsing back down. $5 is a good area to get in at, and I'm not 100% sure if it does go down all the time during the pre-market. But that is also something. This little shaded area right here is pre-market and after hours. So, it could possibly, it could trade a little bit during there. Like here, it kind of just like fell off. It wasn't strong enough to hold, and it kind of came down. So, and here we go, right? There goes the 100-day moving average. It's moving up that way above the 100-day moving average, even though there was a strong sell-off towards the end of the day. And this is after it, broke 627. 627 was the previous resistance. So it broke it. It went to 637 and came right back down. So, these are things that one should be leery about when they are trading stock, because once it breaks the resistance line, does not necessarily mean that it will continue to trade upwards, especially if there's a ton of resistance in the past, which there are none. But it just shows that a stock could do whatever it wants. There's no overhead resistance. This is the all-time high of the stock. I'm anticipating that there will be some pullback, but like I said, with this stock, is the potential that it could go up higher again. So I like the chart pattern. It's it could break over. It already closed over it closed at 607, and it could go a little bit higher to retest that 637. But we got to see what it happens on the trading day, right? So I would like to get into the other stocks that I'm kind of want to trade, but these I'm not 100% sure about this one. I don't like this big drop right here. This big drop is never a really good sign, and it's pretty overextended. But because it's been green for so long and it's over the 100-day moving average, it gives me an idea that, hey, it might have some legs to go a little bit higher. But another stock that I feel like would be the best one to trade, and this will probably be one, two, three. I say out of the seven that I have, no seven, six that I have. These four ARAY, MRMD, VKTX, FUSZ are probably the best stocks to trade for Monday, just because they give the best patterns. I think that this can break and retest that 615 area, and if it breaks and tests that 615 area, it could possibly go a little bit higher. The 100-day moving average, once it's above the 100-day moving average by $1.10, I've seen stocks like this continue to move higher and higher. It has support, the lowest support at 530, and some stronger support at 550. So 550 would probably be my best buy-in point. But if I wanted to hurry up and get in, which I never do that hurry up and buy is never good. But if I wanted to get in, I think 575 is probably a reasonable price. Let's see. What does it normally do on the, this is after earnings. So, after earnings, earnings, and then there was a drop in price and it held, and it continued to hold the price actually a couple of days. So this actually trades pretty boringly, and it rather has spikes either late afternoon, early afternoon, or early morning, which it had right here. The spike in volume. So the spike in volume came down like this one right here. So, one thing that I always want to be leery of is how the bid and the ask. If the bid and the ask are particularly lower, especially the ask, if it's lower than the closing price, that market open for that stock is going to be considerably lower, I think. I've seen it time and time again, or I've had the hope and wish that the stock price will continue to go back towards that closing price, and it never does. So you have that opportunity where these stocks could go lower than where they were if it is starting to trade prices at the bid and the ask below the previous day closing price. So that is something that I tend to look at when I think a stock could go lower on the day, kind of like over here. But even over here, it still had a spike in volume, and it tested out right here. So what happened on Tuesday? Why did that happen? So Tuesday was, what day was that? That was the 30th. So no news. It spiked off with no news. On the 29th, it did say that there was a study on transgeminal neuralgia, right? Neuralgia. All right. Yeah. So the trigeminal nerve from the cranial nerve. Apparently, that there was a study that will allow this drug that they're working on to provide relief, long-lasting relief. So, this is something that I can definitely watch and keep a close eye on, because the chart pattern says that it will retest, and it actually went up in the after hours to 607 or 606. So that 615, it could be tested really easily, right? Yeah, I could see that being tested really easily. So, anytime you have a stock that starts trading upwards in the after hours, that's something that you could take with a considerable degree of confidence that the stock, the next trading day, will go up, because the stock stopped trading in a green direction. So that is something that I will definitely look at for Monday. So like I said, how do I scan for stocks? I scan using the last closing price or the last price of the stock, normally the closing price, between 15 cents and $10. Also use the volume. The volume is at 500,000 shares that have been traded up to 10 million. You can increase it, but I like low float stocks, so normally get more low float stocks. We're using these parameters, and then the percentage, 5% to 100%. When you get these percentage movers at 5%, it can start triggering buyers that this stock will go higher. So 5% is usually the indicator, and if it starts trading higher, you start leveling off when you want to sell. Did it hit your target price? Do not be greedy. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did with MRMD. That is something. Do not do it. Do not. This day, I could have just taken my percentage. I was up from this. I bought in from this day, and it was an overnight. I did everything correct. You do an overnight hold. You don't waste a day trade, and you just collect. And I didn't. I left a whole bunch of money on the table, and I don't want that to happen again. So you find where the support is. Find how close your support is to the 100-day moving average exponential. See where the resistance is. See where the MACD says, if it's continuing to go bullish or is it starting to pull back. And see what the RSI says. Is it overbought or is it starting to pull back and you're thinking that it might be oversold or will approach overselling. So look at these indicators. I guarantee, well, it's hard to say guarantee, but I would say 9 times out of 10, once it starts trading above the 100-day moving average, it will continue to go up. Roku is a prime example of that, where I first started to learn this strategy, where it was just trading upwards. It was just continually trading upwards, and I had no idea, but I just knew that the 100-day moving average was something that people were talking about, and I should probably start using it at one particular time. So that's what I did. There was another one that started doing that, HMNY, right? So HMNY, this is ridiculous. Like, it just spiked. This one just insanely spiked. And no, there's no way that I knew that it was going to go this high. But on the way up, I was just taking profits. And anytime there was a little pullback and then there was some support, was looking to get in at the support and seeing the price action indicated that there would have been a breakout, and that's what happened. There was another one. There was another one that's just like that. I think Twitter is the next one to do the same thing, even though it did have a pullback on Friday. But you see, once it dipped down here and once it got over the 100-day moving average, it's been kind of hard for it to get right back below it. So even though I think it's going to come back below it, because I think Twitter is, the stock itself has not really been doing the greatest, but there has been some analysts who have come out and said that they believe that it can reach up to $35, which, hey, after its earnings is kind of suggesting that it's really only $10 off from that target price. So we'll see. Other than that, I have kind of ran a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I wanted to show you some of the stocks that I'm looking at for Monday using the strategy, using my scanning strategy, and how I am able to figure out the risk, my reward, support, resistance, utilizing the indicators of the MACD and the RSI, and focusing on the price action that is indicative of volume and what it did in the past. If it spiked one day, did it spike more than one day? If it did spike more than one day, how many days did it spike? When it hits resistance, does it come all the way back down or does it go back up? And once it's trading above the 100-day moving average, how high will it go over the 100-day moving average before pulling back? Um, like HMNY, you won't be able to know. You can't tell. So, you know, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to look at some of the SEC filings once again because I know that FUSZ probably has some more information on their SEC filings. Hopefully, it can test 50 cents within the next 2 weeks. I would like that, but we don't know how this market is going. We had this. Oh man, this was a bloodbath. This was just crazy. So, you know, this is also a website that you could use if you wanted to look up, different stocks, and they have a screener in here too. But I kind of come here really quickly to look at what the market is doing, even though there's a delay on here. I believe that there you can do the same thing on Thinkorswim. See, you got the heat map right here, and look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is red, and these are all just the same thing. It's just using all the watch lists. So there's like several watch lists, but this is just red. This is just red, right? Even in my own personal one, it's red all over, right? This is some of the stocks that, subscription-based stocks. I wrote a whole article about it on when earnings winners, like all the earnings winners, like Facebook and EA Sports and eBay, they started to crash. So even though they came out with good earnings, they still went down. So, I would say use the tools that you have. These are some good tools. I will post this video on YouTube, and I will continue to post on YouTube because I think this is therapeutic. You kind of go over some of the stocks, and it gives me education lesson on what I know and what I don't know, and kind of be verbally speaking it out loud. That's the best part. And I'm not going to criticize myself, but I think that this was a good review of what could possibly happen tomorrow with the stocks that I've selected. So, if you're listening and watching me go on, thank you so much. And I guess just wait until the next video. And you have yourself a great weekend or a great Sunday. And hopefully that your trading profits will be profitable this week.